Is marriage and relationship counseling a waste of time? Grab your stick, grab your drink. Let's get into this thing right now.
Hot beat, smoke it, drink it down. With your voice, it got Jeff around. Feel the vibe, we're set to roll. Let's play, let's lose control. Sip a drink and smoke will swirl. Join the convo around the world. Relationships we dissect slow. Current events, we let them flow.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy JB coming right back at you. Welcome back to the channel, and you know what it is. This is Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. I'm the Real Cigar Jeff, man. Y'all can look below the description, man, to see where to follow me on all the socials and to support the channel. But make sure you hit that subscribe button. As soon as you come into the building, man, a lot of y'all watching my stuff, but you ain't subscribed yet. I ain't fancy like those other YouTubers who can show you the analytics and stuff on how many subscribers and non-subscribers watch my video. But y'all make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. It really helps out the channel. We got to jump into this thing tonight. Is marriage counseling and relationship counseling a waste of time? But before we get into this thing, y'all know I got to introduce my resident relationship therapist expert and let her tell y'all who she is and what she's sipping on tonight.
I don't know what night it's gonna be the same thing. Thanks for having me back, JB. It's your girl Rhonda.
Mhm.
And tonight I made me some good old hot chocolate with my Bailey's mint.
Ooh.
You know, I was at a wedding last night celebrating my people
The
down in
people
Hilton
who say
Head.
don't get the
I had a
person who say
ball.
don't get married.
Yes, celebrating a wedding. Had a ball and came home to learn that my heels are on a 5-6 game winning streak. So I'm having
Winning
my hot
streak.
chocolate in my Carolina cup tonight. I don't bring this one out often because it's a new cup.
And guys,
Yes,
it's Carolina Duke. It's Carolina Duke Saturday.
I
It's
know. That's why I'm drinking
Carolina
it tonight
Duke.
because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Carolina Duke. And Carolina
Well,
gotta win that game.
we know what's gonna happen. But I want my
Hmm.
heels to win. Go heels. Good day to be a Tar Heel. Good day to be a Tar Heel. Ain't that what they say?
That's what they say. I don't know who they are, but that's what they say.
So yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Appreciate you,
Oh,
me though.
and of course my trusty water. Got my trusty water bottle.
Yeah, gotta stay hydrated. Gotta stay
Yes,
hydrated. Y'all know,
perimenopausal.
man. I
I'm hot
all
and
right,
I'm
guys.
cold at the
Let's
same time.
Claire
Say
Huxtable over here. Uh, yeah, I'm smoking on the Romeo and Julieta 1875. Good stick. Had to pick up a 5-pack. Shout out to my guys at Cigars International. Got my 5-pack from up there when we were golfing. So finishing that one. And of course, I had to bring it back. I was in Sprouts and they had it. Gotta go with the Coors Banquet guys in the stubby bottle. I can only drink it in the stubby bottle or on draft. Can't drink it in the can or whatever. You gotta get the stubby bottle. If you know, you know, guys. We gonna jump right into this thing. Is marriage counseling and relationship counseling a waste of time? Now, guys, the reason I said marriage and relationship counseling because it's typically the same person doing it. And one of the things that's happening is you hear people say, "Go talk to somebody. Go talk to somebody." Not the bankhead bounce after you got the
it's
first
good. I think
week.
the Carolina Cup make it taste better.
so, so,
Smith
guys,
Smith ain't hitting on 2 cents.
a lot of people get in relationship battles and relationship struggles, and you hear people saying, "Oh, go talk to a therapist. Go talk to a therapist." And man, before me and Ronnie start, we don't have a right answer, guys. We just gonna decipher the information. I got some things I want to share. We may agree, we may disagree. I don't know which way this is gonna go tonight. But Rhonda, when you got the topic, and I'm gonna show y'all what I sent Rhonda to that what drove this discussion. If she probably don't remember, but when you got the topic, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
Uh, no, it's not a waste of time. Point blank in the period. You know,
Okay.
unless it's somebody who don't want to change. Unless it's somebody who don't want to. You can't do this thing by yourself. You said marriage or relationship. That
Yeah.
means that's more than one person. Some people may have 10 people in their marriage. All of them need cancer. So the short answer is no, it's not a waste of time. It just may not be for everyone. That's how I feel
So
about it. It's not a waste of
let me
time,
ask
but
you
it may
this.
not be for everyone.
Let me ask you this, Rhonda. Can we at least agree on can we at least agree on, guys, that if you're going to go to a therapist, make sure it's somebody who is certified and has a license to practice therapy?
Um,
No? Yes?
yes, but I also know people will take counseling, and that's very loose from their church people, from their pastors and stuff.
Well,
And I don't
but
think that
that's my
they're
point.
certified. So I do say yes, but I think
That's my
most
point.
people
Yes.
with certain backgrounds probably would be more receptive to church counseling, which ain't no
Well,
certification in nothing.
and that's what we're trying to say to you guys, right?
Hmm.
So I don't consider, at this stage now, I don't consider church counseling. And the reason being, guys, the reason being is this. I've been a business owner for many years now, and what you learn is there's a reason why people have certifications to do things. Okay. And the number one thing, guys, if you're going to, most people don't do marriage counseling or relationship counseling proactively. By the time you get to marriage counseling,
Oh
it's either
yeah.
been ordered by a judge, it's been ordered by a judge, or y'all that relationship already on its last leg. Ron said something earlier, and we gotta make sure we put that out. The person got
What I
to
say?
care.
Oh yeah.
The person got to care. The person got to care. So if I'm sitting here and I've already checked out, the marriage counseling ain't gonna work. Relationship therapy ain't gonna work out. Now, here's what I will tell you: when you trying to get married and you're just a dating couple, you go into marriage counseling completely different than when, okay, the judge just ordered this and mediation, so I got to do it. So let me just check the box so I can get out of here,
Hmm.
right? Or I've already moved on with somebody unofficially, and we got to do this. So look, let me just go in here and check the box, get out of this, and get out of this relationship. And so Rhonda says it's not a waste of time. I'm gonna tell y'all guys, I'm gonna do something I normally do on the podcast. I'm gonna say it depends. And as I was preparing for this podcast tonight, I'm gonna give you one way to look at it, and then we're gonna get into an article that I came across that I want to share, where you know you got to understand when you get into the
My bad.
hopefully the editor will take that out
My
automatically.
bad.
Rhonda owned one tonight. She pulled a short rib from that wedding last night. But
Oh, that thing was good.
but what I'm gonna tell y'all is this. I think at the end of the day, I think that just like they say in divorce, when you get divorced, there's only one person that wins, and that's the lawyers.
Mm.
In therapy, a lot of times, just know that person got the same marital problems, relationship problems you got, and they don't use that stuff at home. They are actually going to give you a process, though, that if you use it, it's going to work.
Well,
If you use it, it's going to work.
a good counselor will let you know that yes, I know the goal is couples or marriage or relationship, but a great therapist knows it needs to be single first, then bring them
Mm-hmm.
together. You
Mm-hmm.
came into the marriage with your stuff,
Absolutely.
and so
But that's what I'm saying, guys. And one of the things you're going to find is the reason why I'm saying go to somebody who's been certified in it, who has a license in it, right? Because a lot of y'all going to unofficial counselors, and that's going to be
don't you
family,
talk about my
friends,
pastor.
church,
Don't you talk about
family,
my
friends,
pastor.
yeah,
Don't you talk about my
family,
deacon.
friends, church, yeah, co-workers, that kind of thing, right? And guys, those guys are not qualified. Those guys are not qualified. And as much as people gonna hate me when I say this, prayer ain't gonna fix it, right? Prayer ain't gonna fix it. You're gonna need some sound strategies and some psychological stuff that you're gonna have to do in order to turn this thing around. You're not in marriage counseling because things are right. You're in marriage counseling because things have gone horribly bad. And if you're engaged and you got to do it to get married, right? The number one thing you got to do is you got to go in there with an open mind and know that I might find some stuff out that might make me not marry this person because you're gonna see the red flags in the premarital counseling.
Hmm.
You're gonna see it. Now you're gonna have to decide whether you want to keep moving forward or not.
Yeah,
But
because I
Ron,
done
I
bought my
thought this.
dress.
Everybody done bought their dress and tuck. Everybody done bought this.
We don't care about them red flags, beige. We don't care about them.
And guys,
Hmm.
guess what? That's the whole premise. So I just want everybody to know that when we do this podcast tonight, it's gonna sound like hate, and it's gonna sound like we're trying to, y'all don't think we hating on church or not. We're not doing that. But what we're not hating, we're just telling you at this point you're getting into a legal covenant. You're getting into a legal covenant. When your church gives you that, when you have that wedding at your church, you go back in that room and the pastor sign a marriage license is governed by the state that you live in. So you need to go to a counselor who understands the traumatic effect on your life that's gonna happen if y'all split up. Because it's gonna be traumatic. There's people who get divorced and
Mm.
carry that anger and put that anger on everybody. So guys, what I want to do real fast, I came across this Instagram post. And I'm gonna play this for y'all because, and again, this will be for all my Spotify, Amazon Music listeners. This will be in the description. Same thing on YouTube. You guys will be able to do this. But this blew my mind when it got sent to me. So I'm gonna try to play this, guys. I got to refresh this page. I'm gonna try to play this so y'all can hear what this guy had to say. Okay, let's do this. All righty. Hold on. Here we go, guys. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Here we go.
I'm telling all my friends and relatives, go on many vacations with your spouse. Go to fancy restaurants. It's so much cheaper than therapy. Therapists, 300 hours, 45 minutes. They have nothing to tell you. They have nothing to sell you. They don't know you. They don't even pay attention. Go on vacations. Go to Broadway shows. Go to fancy restaurants. It's the best investment. Don't bring your kids. Leave them with the babysitters. Enjoy your spouse's company.
What inspired you to say that, Clappy?
I just went on a nice vacation. It's very important. I got to do it more often. You got to do it more often. Don't listen to the naysayers. Just do it. Take out your credit card, call your travel agent, and just book. Everything else will fall into place. You must go on vacation.
Spending time, or if it has to be vacation?
You have to get away from your normal 9 to 5. You have to be in the right atmosphere. You got to be on a nice vacation. It's got to be in Italy. It's got to be on a cruise. It's got to be away.
Let's say you can't afford it. What do?
You borrow money. You borrow money. I'm telling you, it's cheaper than anything else. Invest in yourself.
Cheaper than divorce, right?
You're the best investment. We don't use the D word. We don't use it.
Damn, Rhonda, do I need to play it one more time
Absolutely
for
not.
the people in the back?
I
For the
mean, if you
people in
want
the
to,
back, guys.
if you want
Look,
to, but
guys,
I don't
I'm
know
gonna
why.
play. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this one more time. 'Cause I want to make sure everybody hears it, right? Okay, because he said therapists are a waste of money. Clappy at the Clappy, sponsored by Never Stop Dating, the greatest dating game, right? So, reason why I'm showing this to you guys, my Riverside want to act up a little bit. There's a comment right here that says not just about going on dates and trips. It's about actually being there, listen, court each other,
Yeah.
compliment, be attentive, etc. Date as if you think they are out of your league. Date as if you think they are out of your league. I'm gonna play this again, guys,
So that's
one more
also what
time,
he
and y'all.
added to it, or that was just a comment.
That was a comment by
Oh, okay.
somebody who saw the post. So I'm gonna just play it one more time, guys.
Okay.
Clappy, what's your inspiration from your last vacation?
I'm telling all my friends and relatives, go on many vacations with your spouse. Go to fancy restaurants. It's so much cheaper than therapy. Therapists, 300 hours, 45 minutes. They have nothing to tell you. They have nothing to sell you. They don't know you. They don't even pay attention. Go on vacations. Go to Broadway shows. Go to fancy restaurants. It's the best investment. Don't bring your kids. Leave them with the babysitters. Enjoy your spouse's company.
What inspired you to say that, Clappy?
I just went on a nice vacation. It's very important. I got to do it more often. You got to do it more often. Don't listen to the naysayers. Just do it. Take out your credit card, call your travel agent, and just book. Everything else will fall into place. You must go on vacation.
Spending time, or if it has to be vacation?
You have to get away from your normal 9 to 5. You have to be in the right atmosphere. You got to be on a nice vacation. It's got to be in Italy. It's got to be on a cruise. It's got to be away.
Let's say you can't afford it. What do?
You borrow money. You borrow money. I'm telling you, it's cheaper than anything else. Invest in yourself.
Cheaper than divorce, right?
You're the best investment. We don't use the D word. We don't use it.
Oh my God! So Rhonda, I played it for you.
Hmm.
Tell me what you think about that, and I'm gonna tell you what I think.
I call BS because guess what you're gonna do on that vacation? Ignore her or him there as well.
Okay.
At least with therapy, they give you tools to work with. Like there's married people that could travel the world and still not be happy with each other, not talking to each other thoroughly, like like truly. So
Okay.
what, we just gonna take the madness somewhere else? Do the therapy, then go on vacation. Do the therapy, then go on vacation. Go to therapy,
Okay.
use the tools, then go on vacation.
Okay. Now, guys, y'all hear what Rhonda say? When
But
I
don't get
saw
in
this,
no debt. Come on, dude. Don't get in no debt for that. We y'all just gonna be mad in another country.
but what's gonna happen when you get? What's gonna happen when you divorce? A bunch of debt. And I want y'all to say the reason why I use this, because he said it in. We don't use the D word here, right? Right? You hear what he said? We don't use the D word, and y'all can see what faith he was, what his faith origin was. Clearly, he's of the Jewish faith and that kind of thing. But guys, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I agree with everything he said. I agree with everything he said because a lot of things are environmental. A lot of things
Mm-hmm.
are environmental, guys. And so, what he's saying is get out of that environment that you're in. And he said, lead the kids. He said, lead the kids. Because a lot of people think being a good spouse, I mean, being a good parent means being a good spouse. But you got to get away from those things. It's just like I'm a business owner. I don't have any kids, right? So when I go somewhere, I have to leave the business behind and put things in place so the business won't be a distraction. See what I'm saying? And so Ron, I actually agree with him because at the end of the day, who is recommending you to the therapist? What's her track record? How you better make sure. But I know for a fact, if I hop on a plane and we in first class and we gonna make a commitment to go change the environment to talk,
Who gonna do all that?
there's a chance. You'll
Who
be
gonna
surprised.
do all of that?
You'll be surprised. If you look at the context of what he was saying, Ron, I actually agree with him because I think that one of the things I've said in previous podcasts, three things that you got to do when you're in a relationship. I mean, it's two. You got to do two out of these three things: eat, drink, and smoke. Eat, drink, and
Mm-hmm.
smoke. You got to do two of the three. And one of the things that's happening is, and then look at what he said: we don't use the D word over here. So at the end of the day, most people are using therapy because they already on their way out. They're not looking to stay. A trip can rekindle a lot of things.
But if
Therapy
therapy
may
was
just be
more
talking about. Go ahead.
acceptable in this country, you would have people that's been in therapy since their young adult age or what have you, that has the tools to work and talk and comprehend in relationships. I think
Okay.
that's more of a long-term investment because you
But
should be growing and stuff. But
I'm
I
glad
just,
you I'm glad you I'm glad you said that, Romney, because y'all got to listen to the point she just made. You didn't go talk to therapists growing up, so going to talk to some. Because guess what? Keep my business out the street. Don't go talk to nobody. Don't tell nobody our business, right? Don't let nobody know you failing. Don't let nobody know you in
mm-hmm,
too deep.
yeah,
And so
right.
now,
Just run
now,
your blood
now,
pressure up,
just run your blood pressure up,
run your
create
sugar up.
all this inflammation, create all this inflammation in your body. But I just thought it was interesting coming from this Jewish guy how he processed it, which
Mm-hmm.
is go take a trip, go to nice restaurants. One of the things, the reason you're in therapy, you need therapy because y'all stop spending time with each other. And that's why, Rhonda, I'm telling you,
Or
like
they
all of
weren't
a sudden,
supposed
it's
to
this.
be together in the first place.
But you gotta remember,
And
Rhonda,
so
is that
if you got to stay trapped in a marriage, then yeah, you got to
well,
go on trips
yeah, you gonna have to. You look, guys. Let me tell you
if you
this:
trapped.
once if you can't get out of it, he said they don't do the D word over here. If you can't get out of it,
He beating me, but we can't get a divorce.
well, I don't know. All
He
that ain't
abusing
different now.
me,
Oh
but
no,
okay.
but
Because I'm like, come on.
but my point to you guys is this: you're in a situation where if you go to the therapist, right? Here's what he's saying. Here's what I think he's saying. Y'all can get down in the comments. Let me know if y'all think I'm wrong. What he's saying is, you gonna go to this therapist, and y'all ain't gonna have no money to do. Y'all ain't gonna have no money to do these things. You're gonna go through the therapist, and now you're gonna come back and try to do this stuff in the same environment that ain't working. And the one thing I tell people all the time: a palm tree is not gonna grow in New York City. It just ain't, right? So what you got to understand, what one of the things you in Florida is because you see palm trees. That's what people want to do. They want to go to a beach. There's certain things that are conducive to certain environments. And so,
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie, the reason why I like what he said was clearly he had been to a therapist before and didn't believe that it worked. That's why the title of this is it a waste of time. What he's found is an alternative. I want to say this, Ronnie, as we, because I think this is the best part of it. I want to say this: doing nothing is not an option. So you got to do something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you agree with that? Doing nothing is not an option.
Yeah, doing nothing isn't an option unless y'all are done with each other. If you're done, like just go ahead on about your business.
But
But I wish we had more context with him with what he meant by that. Like, was it more of because of because of your beliefs, then this is what we did? Because again, I just think certain religions gonna be like, you better pray that thing. You better pray that thing.
well,
Go talk to.
but that's Ronnie.
So that's what I'm saying. So I
I
don't
use
know.
this one. That's why I use this one because you would think with him being have his yarmulke on, he has all that. Clearly he's active in his faith, right? You would have thought he would have said, "Let's go to the synagogue. Let's participate in the married couple ministry, or whatever."
Oh
Right?
no, I wouldn't have got that,
That's what
but
you would
I
have.
get what you're
Now,
saying.
but my point to you is, I would have expected him to say something religious based. That man didn't say nothing about prayer. He didn't say nothing about fasting. He didn't say nothing about any of that. What did he say?
Hmm.
And then, especially with him being Jewish, man, he said, "Borrow it. If you ain't got it, borrow it." And one of the things that happened is
But
he
if you
did
ain't
all
got
that
it, 9 times
before.
out of 10, you can't
But guess
borrow
what,
it.
Ron? But guess what? When we were dating, it all got put on a credit card. Most people come into marriage in debt because they did all that to get the wedding paid for, to get all the stuff paid for. They come in, you borrowed it when you were dating. You put it on a credit card when you were dating. And that's what was kind of so profound to me, is all he did was say, this is all the stuff you did when you were dating. You didn't need the therapist then. That's the way I took it, because he's just like,
You
when
did.
you
You just
dating,
ignored the red flags.
well, and again, guys, let me tell you this, because when you on that high, the red
Yes,
flags don't matter.
they don't matter.
The red flags,
They
the
don't.
red flags don't matter. So I wanted you guys to see that one, because I actually agree with it. I'm the guy that's gonna say, look, because the first thing me and Ron always talk about on this podcast is put yourself first, right? And here's the first thing I would tell you to do. You put in, y'all get a hat. Y'all put 5 places. Both of y'all write down 5 places you want to go eat and 5 places you want to travel to. And you put one in the hat, she put some in the hat, and y'all pull out. See if y'all the same, right? Because now all of a sudden, guys, when you pull out, now you're gonna be talking about, oh, why would you want to go there? What would you want to see? Boom, 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 boom. Now we talk about going to that place to eat or going to that place to travel and that kind of thing. Because really what you're just doing is trying to spark conversation again.
So just think about your side piece wherever y'all go. Okay.
No, it ain't about that. Where did that come from? He ain't say nothing about that.
Because no, but again, right? Normally when people need work in their relationships, something has shifted. Whether there's somebody stepping out or whether somebody has just decided like this doesn't work for me anymore. So yeah, maybe you want the work
And
wife to go. Maybe you want the work husband to go.
but guys, but let me tell you this, guys. Even if all that is going on, it has nothing to do with the fact that I got to sit across from this person and we got to work this out, or either work it over, right? Either way, we got to go through this process. We're gonna
Yeah.
go through this process fighting, or we're gonna go through this process cordial. That's basically what it comes down. That's basically what it comes down to. I just hate when I meet divorced people who all they want to do is talk about the person they divorced. They didn't move on. And then you go into the next relationship trying to do everything you wish the other person could do. Now that's unfair to that person. So the reason I wanted that guy, the reason I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to show y'all that was because I did not expect that from him, and that's just my
Mm-hmm.
own. Stereotypes can be a bad thing, right? That's what I'm admitting to. I didn't expect that to come from him. But I got another article I want y'all to see, because I want to go over here to this one. Let me know, Rhonda, if you can see it.
Yeah.
Uh, We
Okay.
over here at theguardian.com, guys. The big idea is couples therapy a waste of time? And this article is roughly a year old, came back in early 2024, January 15th, 2024. Y'all know I always try to do my stuff post COVID, not anything before COVID, because COVID just took a wreck to this thing. Okay. Something interesting happens in the first few pages of Arnold Schwarzenegger's recent memoir, come self-help book, Be Useful, 7 Tools for Life. It opens on a moment of weakness as he describes the lowest point, the day he told his wife that he'd fathered a baby with their housekeeper. No failure has ever felt worse than that, he writes. Now, that goes back to what Rhonda just said,
I didn't know
right?
that.
Mm-hmm. Now, we talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Everybody knows that whole situation. Married to Maria Shriver, ended up getting a nanny pregnant, has a baby that looks just like him, bodybuilding just like him. Okay? But that
Hmm.
isn't the interesting part. He said, I won't be rehashing that story here. He sniffs, refusing to dwell on it even for a sentence longer. Instead, he instructs readers to Google the story if that's the sort of gossip that happens to get them going. The rest
Hmm.
of the book continues at the same sort of clip, with Schwarzenegger wrestling away any looming hint of introspection that might impinge on yet another anecdote about the time he cut the legs off his trousers to remind himself to work on his calves. All right. I have
Hmm.
to confess to tumbling down a bit of an Arnie hole after reading Be Useful, seeking out all sorts of interviews with him purely to see if he's ever managed to display any vulnerability in public. The closest I got was an interview with Howard Stern, ostensibly to promote the forgotten 2000 film Terminator Genisys. At one point, Schwarzenegger admitted that he had once attended couples therapy with his then wife. But just like in the book, he clammed shut when asked if he got anything out of it. It was the biggest mistake I've ever made because that guy was so full of SHIT. He claimed the sessions were full of nonsense talk that was counterproductive to our future relationship. So why did he go? Because his wife talked him into it, apparently. What do you think about that, Ron?
Okay. He's sharing his truth about his experience, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know the mindset he went in there with. Number one, he didn't want to do it. Like he said, his wife made him do
Mm-hmm.
it.
You made
Right.
him
So
do
if
it.
it's an ultimatum, you're not going to benefit from it. Therapy is
Mm-hmm.
something that you have to want to do. Right. So at the end of the day, whenever you're made to do something, that's why mediation goes the way they do. Like it's just crazy.
Can I can I interrupt you though, Rhonda?
Hmm.
I'm gonna say it like this: if the man don't want to go, that's the worst thing.
That's what I'm
If
saying.
the
If he
man
don't want to
leads, if
go, it's
the
yeah.
it ain't guys, let me tell you, the man has to take the lead on therapy. If the man don't take the lead on therapy, it ain't gonna work. And guys, guess what?
And
The
most
word in
men
this
ain't gonna
paragraph,
take the lead.
absolutely, absolutely, guys. The man had checked out a long time ago. He's checked out a long time ago. But Rhonda, I like how he pointed out purely to see if he has ever managed to display any vulnerability. And I think that's the key word in that entire paragraph. Do
But
you
people act
want to
like
be
it's a
vulnerable
bad
with this
thing.
person?
People act
Mm-hmm.
like that's a bad thing, and it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Now, let's go to the next paragraph. It has the making of a million memes. Men would rather become an indestructible robot and eradicate humanity than go to therapy. The
Yep.
thing is, though, his book and his life make a seductive argument for just marching ahead unexamined, although whether his ex wife would agree is a different matter. To Schwarzenegger, a moment spent exploring his inner motivation is a moment where he isn't able to manifest his external one, whether that's becoming briefly the world's highest paid actor, successfully entering politics, or Instagramming videos of the donkey he lets roam around his kitchen. It seems like the good life, but it doesn't seem particularly fair of him. A big part of couples therapy, maybe even the biggest, is finding a space where you can learn to communicate properly again. And that's bound to be difficult when one half of the couple, A, doesn't want to do it in the first place, and B,
Hmm.
is determined to not get anything out of it. Jump in there, right, and let me know what you think about that.
No, I mean I believe that's true. It's
Mm-hmm.
always, but again, when we're growing as we do at different rates in a relationship based on our experiences, right? You're going to have it where I think the most equal you are in your marriage or relationship is at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes downhill from there.
And then it gets out of balance every day
Yes.
after that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And so I can see
Yep.
that because one is going to see it as criticism. Oh, something you think something's wrong with me? They're not going to see is
Mm-hmm.
that it's for us. They're going to take it real personal.
Mm-hmm.
And it has nothing to do with that. It's about, hey, have we matured enough to get to this particular level? Have we grown enough to get
Mm-hmm.
to this particular level? Right? Because at the end of the day, to get to another level, something that you've been holding on to got to die off. It has to fall off for you to advance.
It gotta die. It's
Yeah.
gotta die.
And I
So
know
so
that's
guys,
extreme, but it's got to go.
it's gotta go. Right? He goes on to say Counselor Priya Turkow has a number of theories about why people might not want to take the plunge. They think the therapist is going to sit there and not say anything, or they're worried that a therapist will be on their partner's side. There can be a real fear of opening Pandora's box. And that's true, guys. That fear may be exacerbated if you happen to catch Showtime's Couples Therapy, currently on iPlayer, a series that seems to exist as a warning for people who aren't in couples therapy not to have couples therapy. Admittedly, it might be a bad example from which to extrapolate because the program isn't just about couples having therapy, but about couples who actively want their sessions to be broadcast on television, an impulse that you suspect can't be good at all for the relationship. But even accounting for this, couples therapy isn't a particularly good advert. It's the son of show. I mean, it's the sort of show that forces you to take sides. It's Jeremy Kyle with better dentistry. Thankfully, this isn't what most couples therapy is in reality. It isn't a competition when you pay someone to pick a winner, where there's a hero we can root for and a villain to despise. And this, I would guess, is why Schwarzenegger didn't enjoy the session. Couples therapy is based on the premise that having the best relationship you can have is a good idea. If that's not how you see it, then it may well be a waste of time. Even with the best will in the world, it's still going to be hard because there are habits that build and we're all going to get triggered. One of the things that happens in couples therapy is that you learn to talk to each other. How much more
Mhm.
foundational does it get than that? Notice what she said, guys. If you don't see it, couples therapy is based on the premise that having the best relationship you can have is a good idea. She just basically said, if that ain't how you see it, you got your answer. It's a
Right.
waste of time. Jump in there around and let me know what you think about that paragraph.
No, again, right, it goes back to our expectations of a thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or how would we look to our friends and family,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially if they want you marrying that girl or marrying that
Yeah, that
dude,
guy. Mm-hmm.
like to begin with, right? That ain't gonna help y'all.
Mm-hmm.
What y'all gonna do that for? You should have been left him or her or what have you. So yeah, so all of that plays a role when it comes down to determining it. But I still think that at the end of the day, if we're gonna call it couples, I think it is gonna make it harder for one of those parties to be like, oh, I can't do it. And it's
Yep.
going to be even
Yep.
harder to do individually because, again, if they were doing it individually, that would be a habit that they would create, right? And that's
Yep.
something that should start at a young age. And
I, I
unfortunately, that's not the case.
I like the fact that he broke it down to that one sentence, guys. He broke it down to that one sentence. Do you think it's a good idea, right? That you can have a good relationship. That having the best relationship is a good idea. All right, that's the first question we got to start with. Do you and I together, is that a good idea? No.
Hmm.
All right, this is a waste of time. You and
No,
I
man, but
together, is
that
that a good
flesh, but
idea?
the flesh
Yes.
is weak. The flesh is weak.
Deflect, yes. Guys, when I saw this article, I said, oh my God, are y'all being together a good idea?
Right.
No.
That's
Yes. You that right there. Okay, this is about to be a waste of time. But guess what, guys? I'm gonna say this. Even if you don't go to therapy and you do the other way that I just showed you in that Instagram reel, going on this trip, is us being in a relationship a good idea? No. All right, don't waste your time on the trip either. You
right.
see what I'm saying, Riley? It works no matter what choice you make, right? Now
Hmm.
here's what got interesting. He said I should probably come clean and point out that I know Priya quite well. My wife and I started having sessions with her almost as a joke. Newspaper asked us to have couples therapy and write about it, only for us to instantly realize that we might actually need couples therapy. Look at what he said, guys. It wasn't fun because, of course, it wasn't. It isn't even here all the ways you're not perfect, and the
Right.
sessions never end when the session ends because you invariably have to travel home together afterwards in the immediate aftermath of some
Hmm.
horrible home truth. But it
Yes.
did help. We learned techniques to cool things down in touchy moments that would have otherwise rocked off into that stratosphere. We actually apologize to each other sometimes now. Imagine. Right? Here's what he said, guys. This isn't a blanket endorsement. For some, perhaps especially the overthinkers among us, certain forms of therapies might get you more bogged down rather than freeing you up. Esther Perel, the closest the therapy world has to a superstar, thanks to her wildly popular podcast, warns ironically, we often are inclined to seek the form of therapy that matches our defenses rather than help
Yeah.
change it.
Right.
Not only that, but for many people, therapy is still filled with the stigma, and talking to a stranger is a bizarre practice. Jump in there, Ryan. Let me know what you think about that one.
Well, of course they'll think that. Like I totally agree
Mm-hmm.
with this article because it is breaking it down. Like I think most people go into therapy thinking or knowing they don't need it. What am I here for? Ain't nothing wrong with me. I got my ish together. And so when you break it down like that, is and to see that they were nicer to each other, softer to each other and stuff, like that's always a plus. Because at one point, this was your girl and this was your guy. They were your best friend. And now all
Mm-hmm.
stuff that gone all off the rails. And therapy is a way to get it back. But even if you do have the walls up and don't want to do it, and you could be like this, be like them and get in there and then change your mind like, oh, hold on. This was for play, but now, hey, I could see something changing in me, which means it's going to change in us and we, and then you all get better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I look at that piece of it. But I think if you going
Yeah.
in feeling like that, that's what's going to happen.
And I think that's the I think that's the I think that's the difference. Uh I think that's the difference, you know. So when I saw this, I said, and I'll finish this last paragraph real fast so we can get back to seeing each other. But bizarre it may be, and judging from his book and his social media, things are going great for Schwarzenegger. But it does seem quite odd that someone who made a career out of working hard and battling through adversity couldn't face the prospect of sitting in a room with his wife and talking about his problems. That said, it's not unknown for couples who resisted therapy at first to return once they've exhausted other options. With any luck, he'll be back in my
Oh
Terminator
Lord.
voice.
Oh Lord.
Now, Rhonda, that's why I put both of these articles out here, right? That's why I put both of these articles out here, guys. I personally think, I personally think it's a waste. I think therapy is a waste of time.
So why
But
is
the
that?
reason I think therapy is a waste of, I think therapy is a waste of time because at the end of the day, guys, like he said, are you and I together a good idea? And if we can't say yes to each other, why are we gonna pay to do anything else,
But people gonna
right?
lie and say yes.
I don't think people are gonna lie at this point, right? Because when you ready for therapy, you said it already. A lot of these people are already gone. Like I still
But
gotta want
the
to be with you.
idea of being by yourself will make you
Mm-hmm.
say stuff to keep that person there. Cause where
Yep.
you gonna go?
Yep.
I heard someone say same thing. I could do the same thing married that I could do divorce.
That I can do divorce.
Who? Yeah, I done heard somebody say that.
But guess what though? The funny the funny thing is, right? The funny thing is, hold on, right? I'm getting text messages, guys. Hold on. But the reason why let me tell y'all why I say that. Let me tell you why I say that. I got told that years ago. I got told that years ago before I even thought about getting married, right? So if I got told that by a married guy, because what he was letting me know is, don't think because you leave this person, something gonna get better for you. That other person ain't the problem. You the
Mm.
problem, right? And that's what a lot of people don't get. That's why when people get divorced and go, or they break up with somebody and go to somebody, they bring the same problems with them, right? The only way you and I can be a good idea is if you're a good idea and I'm a good idea too, and we bringing that together. But some of us have gotten with somebody who's a bad idea. And all you're gonna do is go choose somebody worse. As my boy tells me when we talk, going from the frying pan to the skillet, right? So at the end of the day, I gotta start asking myself introspectively, okay, is this a good idea? All right. Now I gotta go back to the beginning. When you go back to the beginning, you figure out what when we set out to do this, what was the purpose? And how did we get here? And the reason we got here is because so many things have penetrated that relationship and we didn't protect it. Relationships got to have a fence around it. Because if somebody or something penetrates that fence, it's going to be hard to fix it. It's going to be hard to fix it. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
the difference. Right? When I saw that with Schwarzenegger, he's right. This is the Terminator. This is the governor of California. This dude came here from another country. He's the the well known bodybuilder. But when it came to marriage, man, I don't see that talk with him. Look at what he done put his physical body through, but wouldn't sit down with a therapist. That's how hard it is.
Well,
That's how
because
hard it is, right?
I don't know if that's how hard it is. It's just that was what he wasn't willing to do. whereas he was willing to put in the effort in his bodybuilding. We'll do the things that we want to do. At the end of the day, we'll do whatever we want to do. It's those things that we have to do that messes us up. And marriage has a lot of have to do's. And that's all I got to say
Yes.
about that.
No. And guess what, guys? I like how you said that. I like how you said that, Rhonda. Because when I'm doing this, guys, I'm having to do it. You forcing me to do it. I don't feel like I have any control. And y'all don't forget what he said in that article, guys. What he
What did he
said in
say?
the article, I already know you ain't gonna be on my side. I already know you're not gonna be on my side. And guess what? That's how most men feel about therapy. And that's whether you're going through a licensed person or if you're going to your pastor, right? So Ron, that's the number one
But
thing
now,
about it.
I do feel like therapy can set you up to lie, though, because you want to go in a certain way. And
Of
because you're
course.
already thinking that you're okay, then you got to present this facade.
Oh, why did you just preach? Man, I
Yeah.
appreciate you just preaching. You just preach. Therapy set me up. Therapy set me up to lie, right?
Yeah.
Right?
But it's still
Therapy
good for
set me
you.
up to lie. But guess what? Therapy set me up to lie. Y'all, Rhonda just preached. Let me tell y'all why. I've been lying to everybody about the relationship for how long now? Now I got to go through this objective third party who's gonna probably see through me. So I've got to get better at my lying. That's another reason why it's a waste of time, because I'm trying to get somebody on my side. I'm not trying to put the relationship back together.
And
I'm
that's the
trying to
first
get it
mistake.
so that when I dip, everybody gonna be like, yeah, he made the right decision. Versus trying to come in here and say, are we a good idea still? Can we become that good idea again? And that was the most powerful question right when I saw that article. Are we a good idea? All
Yeah.
right, are we a good idea? Not now, because where we are now, look, come back to the beginning. Are we a good idea?
But
Guys,
that's no
that
different
is
than somebody deciding what school they want to go to. Is this
mm-hmm.
school a good fit? That's why you go visit the campus to see if it feels right.
Yes.
Like you check
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff out, right? And then when you with your family, you done made it through meeting the family, and then you got to make it through the wedding, then you got to make it through the
Yes.
births, and then you got to make it's all the have tos, and so that
And
gets
you got
exhausting.
all the stuff you got to tolerate. All the
Yeah,
stuff you got to tolerate. And then at
like
some point you
Lord,
just
let
say,
me
I ain't
go
gonna
to
do it
this
no more.
happy family reunion. I don't even like
Yes.
them. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And it's
Yes.
just one thing after
For the
another.
holidays. For the
Then you have
holidays.
kids, so you
And
got to
guys,
invite their raggedy
then the
friends over.
kids.
I mean, not
Guys.
raggedy, but
Oh, they ragged. Oh, they definitely ragged. But that's the whole point, guys. We're on the preaching right now because all of these have tos are going to just wear you down at some point. The have to always wears you down at some point. And I think that people struggle because I have a negative connotation with therapy because again, just where I'm from, the way you raise, you just don't do it. But then I started going to corporate America, and what's the first thing they bring in to be the keynote speaker, right? Bring a therapist in to just kind of get your mind right because you can't have all that head trash bringing it to work. So they got to make you compartmentalize that. Well, your relationship deserves that too, right? And that's the one thing, right? That's the one thing. Everything you do, guys, is going to be work. Ain't nothing easy. So when Rhonda say these have tos, you realize the worst thing you can't take that Superman cape off when you get home. It's got to be on all the time. Those have tos are real. Rhonda ain't lying to y'all when she say that. Those have tos are real. She's a therapist. The reason a lot of people
oh my Lord.
on her table, that they doing a lot of have tos, and that body gonna lock up. And we did the broken heart one. By the time you come to therapy, that heart is already broken, and that's
Oh,
what makes it
absolutely.
hard. That's what makes it hard too. Rhonda, what's your takeaway tonight as we get ready to get out of here?
Don't do therapy if you feel like you have to.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't work for you, say it early on. Don't try to make it work or force it to work. Pause. Revisit it later
Mm-hmm.
on. But I don't think you could go wrong with therapy if you have the right therapist. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't know what to work on, you have to start somewhere. That don't mean you got to stick with that same one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all you got to know is I can't blame what's happening on the other person until I look at what I got going on.
Mm-hmm.
What am I bringing to the table? But the minute you feel
Yep.
like you have to do something, and that's like the minute you feel like you have to do something, you done already lost.
Yes.
Ain't nothing gonna make that make sense. Mm-hmm.
And guys, look, I'm gonna tell y'all like this: are you a good idea or not? I'm gonna tell y'all my takeaway. Listen to the guy in the Instagram reel first. Go to therapy second. Because what?
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? If guess, let me tell you this. I'm gonna do it that route first, right? Let me see if we can do this. Let me see if we can reset, right? I don't have to go to Italy. I don't have to go to Dubai. I don't have to go to Eddie V's or Ruth Chris or whatever y'all may decide to do to get that environment changed so
It
you
may
can
be
sit down and look
McDonald's
at
in
each
the
other.
next city over.
Absolutely, guys. Y'all may go, yeah, y'all may drive over to the beach and sit at McDonald's. That's fine. You just getting out of the environment that you're in. But what he says is, what the article said is, are you a good idea or not? And look at what he said. We didn't mean to go to therapy. A newspaper asked us to just participate in it. And look at what happened. So can you imagine where you're going to be when it's time for you to go for real? They ended up meeting this therapist by doing some junket for a newspaper, and so
Mm-hmm.
they could do a report on it. And look at what happened. They didn't even think they needed it. All of us need therapy. But what I'm going to say to you guys is do the traveling and the dinners and all that first. Try to do that first. Now formalize it with therapy. Because if you're not a good idea, it is a waste of time. And nobody looks at their relationship as an idea. Because everything that's great in this world started out as an idea. And y'all know what it is, man. This Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. I'm the real cigar Jeff. Y'all do me a favor, man. Look down in the description. Support the channel. Get the merch, man. Get down in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. Is Jeff and Rhonda crazy? Or are we on to something? Got to thank my resident relationship therapy expert. Let them know where they can find you on the socials.
You can find me at on IG at RMB LMBT.
Yeah, man. And again, y'all know what it is. Get down in the comment section. Like, share, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. It helps the channel, man. And until next time, we gonna holler.
Hot beat, smoke it, drink it down. With your voice, it got you around. Feel the vibe, we're set to roll. Press play, let's lose control. Sip a drink and smoke will swirl. Join the convo around the world. Relationships we dissect slow. Current events.